Let me make myself comfortable. It's a chat room. Yep. So you know how we do in the chat room. We like to relax. I'm on my couch, relaxing. We've got a great show lined up for you. Yeah. Okay. Anita is already with us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to FFA, the chat room. I hope you can hear me nice and clearly. I think I might have to just come off of this couch a little bit and be not so relaxed. Man, it's been a long day. I don't know what it's been like for you guys, but it's been a nice long day. So let me just chill, put my pillows behind me as I relax in the chat room. Okay. All right, we have Anita that's going to be joining us in a minute. She's already live with us. I see our executive producer, Wyrie, is here with us, and we're having lots of people join us from all over. So let me get rid of the introductions as quickly as possible. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fashion's Finest Africa chat room. My name's Shirley Abade, aka Mr. Mahogany, and I'm your host. The chat room is a weekly interactive talk show brought to you by Fashion's Finest Africa, the leading fashion platform in Africa, and I, Shirley Abade, aka Mr. Mahogany, I'm your host. Fashion Finance Africa is a platform that celebrates new and emerging fashion designers and creatives. We are all about celebrating fashionpreneurs and fashionistas from all over the world. All right? The show will focus on everything fashion, beauty, and entertainment, everything related, and we will be bringing top fashionistas, celebrities, and superstars from across Africa to talk to you, for you to get an insight into what life is really like for them. It'll be interactive, so we want your questions, guys. So please send us your questions, comments as we're going along. We'll be reading them out. We'll be calling out your names as we read them out as well, and we'll be asking Anita all these fantastic questions. So I think it's time to move on to get into our guest, and we're going to welcome Anita on board. So Anita's connected now. Hey, Anita. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am so well, thank you. I am so well.
You know what? I've got a beef to pick with you. This is how you left UK and went to Nigeria, and we didn't even meet to have our last drink.
Is that my fault? Okay. First and foremost, as a gentleman concerned, I apologize. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I apologize. If I was wrong, I owe you vodka, I owe you Hennessy, whatever it is you want to drink.
Yes. And Nkwobi as well.
Nkwobi.
And Nkwobi.
It's done.
Yes,
when we
settled.
see next, it is
settled.
Done. I'm begging. I'm on my knees, oh, I'm begging, please.
No, don't beg. You're okay, you're forgiven. Don't worry.
It's so good to have you on board.
You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. Please. Let me not laugh. Okay. I'm looking good. Make me blush now. I've gone all hot. My cheeks are burning me now, man.
Oh, bless you. Why not? I believe when someone is looking good, just give them the compliment. Pay them the compliment.
Man, I hear you. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. We want to get into the show, but as I always like to do, I like to introduce you so that everybody knows who you are and what an amazing person you are. So let me please do an introduction, and then we'll get into the show. So Anita Quansah is a Ghanaian, Nigerian, British accessory designer. She started Anita Quansah in London in 2006 while drawing inspiration from her rich family heritage and her love for nature.
Yes.
Anita can be aptly described as the queen of statement pieces. You know, your pieces are always amazing.
Oh,
She once mentioned in an interview to CNN that she wanted to design jewelry that tells a story of celebration of her culture, craftsmanship,
yeah.
uniqueness, and diversity. Now, when you
Yes.
see the accessories she creates, you will wholeheartedly agree and beyond that she has remained very, very true to her vision.
Oh,
Anita, you are very welcome to
thank you,
FFA, the chat room.
Stella. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. You
Yes,
see, I dressed up for you today, you know?
you
I
did?
dressed up.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
God.
I
If I had
dressed up
known,
for
I would have worn
everyone.
short shirt and tie. I think you should have told me now.
You would have worn your African attire.
In fact, my agbada, I would have put
Yeah,
on
but that,
cap.
yes.
Yes. In fact,
Yes.
Wire, this is your fault. You did not tell me to get
Mm-hmm.
dressed up. I'm blaming my producer for not telling me that I should have got really dressed up. You know, have my hat slanted to one side.
Everything. And your walking stick as well. Don't forget the walking stick.
That one I have to be holding it in the air so you can see it. Though. Otherwise, nobody will see it. I mean,
Oh,
I know
bless.
this 1 hour is going to be just fun filled. So, guys, if you
It's
have
gonna be
questions,
fun.
comments,
Yes.
please throw it out there. Let's get into what the chat room is about, Anita, is that people that come here, they want to understand what it's like for somebody like you and your business. They
Mm-hmm.
want the truths. They don't want
Mm-hmm.
all these wishy-washy kind of answers,
Yeah,
airy
oh,
fairy. They
yeah.
want you to see it as it is. Do you understand? Because that's the only way they can learn, we can learn,
Mm-hmm.
and also that we
Yeah.
can get inspiration from you. All right. So when we look at your work, you know, it's very distinctive, extremely bold. Guys, if you have not seen her work, you must go to her page, look at her jewelry. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we asked, you know, how did you know exactly that this is what you wanted to do with your life or as a career? What made you decide to get into it?
Oh my God, where can I start? Well, if I start talking, then obviously we'll be here all night, and I'll probably end up sending you some Hennessy from here, DHLing it to you for us to just sit down and have a proper chin wag. But
Drop
it's a
your
long.
drop your video a little bit so we can see your face fully because we're missing part
Okay,
of your
here.
head.
You see,
Now that's it. Let us admire the beauty now. You are just giving us half head.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my God, my story comes. I go way back. I
Mhm.
go way back. Yes, I was born in London, but I come from mixed African background. My dad is Ghanaian and my mom is Nigerian. But unfortunately, life happened. My mom and dad separated. So obviously, I had to go to the mother's side of the family.
Okay.
So I grew up in the village, as in the village. I grew up in Anambra State, Onitsha.
It's a lie.
Onitsha. I grew
You
up in Onitsha. I grew up
are
in
you
Enugu,
serious?
Enugu State. I went to my early nursery and primary school in Enugu State. Then my mom worked in IMT, the Polytechnic, the Enugu State University. So when they said to everybody, go back to your states, remember the time they were everybody go back to your state. So
Yeah.
my mom was like, they don't want me to work here anymore in Enugu. Oh yeah, let's carry our stuff and move back to Anambra State. So that was how we relocated from Enugu State down to my grandmother's village, my mother's village, which is Onitsha. And I grew up in Onitsha. But my mother we come from a background of royalty. My grandfather was a king. Well, he's a chief. He's a chief. He was one of the king's, you know, he was advising the king basically. And obviously, you know, in our culture we are used to dressing up. Every day is dress up, any excuse to dress up. My grandfather was constantly wearing different outfits,
Mm-hmm.
different adorned hats to go with this George material, you know, the George material that dazzles with the lion heads and everything,
Yes.
and bellies with lion. Yes. So my grandmother, obviously, every time they go out, they have to sew matching outfits. So my grandmother would sew the same thing as her husband, colorful headgear, everything, neck full of coral. The same thing with my mother and her siblings. My mother has 6 sisters. So imagine growing up in a house full of women.
Hmm.
Women all dressing up, and there was trinkets full of gold, coral, name it. There was a room full of different fabrics, George material, and I mean original
Hmm.
George. So life was a party for us every day. So imagine growing up, watching your grandparents, your aunties, your mother dressing up. I was like, I wanna be like this when I get old.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna be like this. And plus, my grandmother was a seamstress. She had a
Right.
skill acquisition school. So
Mm-hmm.
she trained more than 500 women in her school. She trained more than 500 women in her school. So she taught the women how to dress up. She taught them how, like, all the etiquette, what jewelry goes with what. She taught them everything. And as a young girl, I was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. And the most fortunate thing for me was I'm so like, my grandmother brought me up because obviously my mom ended up being a working mom. But I admired her so much that she kind of held me under her wings and showed me the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And she always said to me, you know what, like, I was quite surprised because she wasn't one of those parents that said, oh, be a lawyer, be a doctor, she was, listen, do what you want to do. I can see you're very creative and you're very nosy when I'm dressing up and looking at me, asking questions. Every time she says, they ask, oh, who wants to go bring my coral? I'll be the first one. Let me go so I can go to the trinket, because in her room they had a box. Those metal boxes they
Yes.
have
Yes.
with a padlock.
Mm-hmm.
She will give me the keys and I'll run and I'll be like, let me go get those things for you. And when I open it up, Shola, the things, the materials in there, whoa. So, I mean, I was so blessed, so blessed. So that was what got me into the fascination with fabric design, jewelry design, everything associated with fashion. So,
Wow, what a story. I mean, and that kind of like brings me neatly onto the fact that when we look at you, you're a Ghanaian with a Nigerian mother. You were born in London, so you've got such
yeah,
a mix of a heritage. So when
yeah.
you look at your fashion experience in the different places that you've been in, what would you say are the obvious differences between African fashion and fashion of the West? Or is there a fusion, or is there a complete difference? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, there's a difference. Obviously, there's an obvious difference. But for me, because I've been born, I was born and raised briefly in the UK. I'm multi-diverse. So I'm quite lucky. I'm exposed to the British culture and then the African culture.
Mm-hmm.
And when I branched in, when I said design, I made it my mission to marry both of them together, because both of them, I can't deny one and then leave the other one. I have to bring them together and find a way of merging them and celebrating their own unique beauties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, when you look at my work, you might not think it's very British, but I've done collections where I've told the story of, I think it was like about my collection, I think the one after the Mark of Beauty, where I took some Victorian fashion, Victorian, the jewelries of the fashion of the Victorian era. So I did
Mm-hmm.
my research. I thought, how can I marry both of them together? Because I wanted to tell a tale of two cultures, to royalty, like royal, diversities coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So I used the ruffles and then and the embellishments, the lace, and I married that with African colors. The colors have been associated with Africa and techniques and everything. And then boom, it became a wonderful relationship. And anybody saw it, they're like, oh, I can see the ruffles there. Is that from the Victorian era? I'm like, yes. I can see this there. Is that from yes. So it became a perfect like merge, which was very well accepted by both cultures, both the European,
Mm-hmm.
both the Western and both African, because, to the Westerners, they found it very intriguing that they could wear something that is African, but still British at the same time. And then Africans can wear something that is still African and still has a hint of British at the same
Right.
time. So that way I kind of like, celebrated both, both admirers from different parts of the world. So which is what I still do today, really.
Wow. Now if people don't know, because I think you're what I call one of these quiet celebrity designers. You're under the radar. There's certain designs that you see that they're everywhere. They're on all the
Yeah.
red carpets and all the magazines. But you are
Yeah.
quietly doing your own thing and are much a superstar. Because when we look at your work has been featured in Vogue, Elle, Vibe. Your work has been worn by Alicia Keys, Nicki Minaj, Stanley Newton, to mention a few. Now, this is not easy for these mega superstars to wear your work. And I mean, there are designers out there that are bigger in terms of names, like being celebrities, but not in terms of what they're delivering. So when you look at this, this is a very impressive achievement. So how well or how far would you say African fashion has come in the world? And are we there yet, or do we still have a long way to go?
We are there, but we need to believe in ourselves a lot more. We've always been there. We've always been there.
You think we've always been there?
We've always been there. It's just that we've always been there. It's just that we were still under the shadow of the Western world. You know, without being too controversial here, you know, it's still being
controversial. Say it as it is.
Okay.
Say it as it is.
It's still having that mentality, that slavery mentality, whereby we feel like, you know, you are not good enough, you know, because, you know, you're not good enough. You're not worthy to be out there in competition with the likes of the big time designers, you know, because of that, because you feel like you're not enough. What happens is you belittle yourself. You're not celebrating yourself enough. You're not being authentic with your story because you feel like, oh, the Westerners can tell your story a lot better than you can. But I say to people, how can somebody that is not African tell your story better than you? You are exposed to all these various cultures from different parts of the, you know, there's so many countries in this beautiful continent we find ourselves in. There's so many ways, there's so many cultures you can tap in from. You can tap in from the Kenyan culture, you can tap in from the South African culture. You know, there's so many Cameroonian, there's so many. Its possibilities is endless. It's endless. But I think is we are not, I mean, if it's something I still see to them, because I mentor a lot of young girls, young designers, and I'm trying to push them out and say, listen, there's no point you being comfortable here. If you're going to now, you know, compete with the white world, you need to push yourself out. Because if you blend in, you'll continue to blend in and nobody's going to notice you. But what you need to do is you need to create something that will stand out. Yes, it's not going to be liked by everybody and not everybody is for you, but I'd rather stick out than blend in. If you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather me being talked about than coming into a room and then I'm blending into the crowd and nobody knows who I am. I'd rather come in and say, oh yeah, that lady. Oh, the girl, the lady with the big statement jewelry, the African lady. Yes, yes, yes. You see, they might not know your name, but they remember what you wore. And then they'll keep telling everybody, oh, I went to a party last night and there was this lady with the big jewelry, African jewelry. I was so, rather than blending in, wearing something that is mediocre, nobody knows your name. Nobody knew that you were in the party. Nobody knew you even exist. You come in and then you come out. So I say to people, listen, this world it's an orchestra. Is your platform. Play your best music. Play your best music. Even if this is the last day you have to spend on earth, give your best music, give your best performance, and make it out of this world. Because that's the only way they will remember you. That's the only way.
It's true, it's true.
So I choose to do that.
So let me ask you this. You've had your pieces worn by the likes of Alicia Keys, Nicki Minaj, Tandy Newton. So sorry, I like gossip here. So was it a situation where they just saw your pieces and they bought them? Or was it a situation that any one of them actually contacted you and said, please, can you make a bespoke piece for me? Give me the inside gist. How did it come about that you were dressing mega superstars like this?
Okay, so like that's the thing I say to people. People are watching you. If you think people are not watching you, they are watching you. They might not use their accounts. They might not use the popular account you know them by to watch you, but they can use a fake account to watch you.
Right.
And they can see your progress. And that was one thing I kept hearing. I've been admiring your work for years.
Really? These kind of people
I've been
saying
admiring your work years. And I'm like thinking, yes, I have seen, I'm glad they keep saying, I'm glad you remain consistent. Huh? Like, huh? And I'm like, yes, I've been watching you since you started. Excuse me? Like, hang on. So, but the thing is, I don't let things like that get to my head because, you know, they are the same human beings as the rest of other women I serve. I don't say because they are celebrity, I give them a special treatment. I treat everybody with respect.
Okay.
Whether you're a celebrity or whether you're not a celebrity. I serve everybody the same. I give everybody my 100% authentic self. So that was how it happened. And that is how it's still happening.
So was it that they contacted you directly or the agent contacted you? How was it?
Contact me directly.
Are you serious?
Directly.
Wow.
Directly.
Because
and
I mean,
you'd be amazed. I joke with my daughter, say to my daughter, I have a lot of secrets. She goes to me, what do you want? I say, I have a lot of secrets. And she goes to me, mommy, tell me. I say, I will not tell you because it's one of those secrets that I'm going to carry to my grave. Because, you know, when your clients confide in you, you have to be respectful to them.
Yes.
You know,
definitely.
You can't really expose who they are, and you can't really expose the conversations you have with them. You can't really expose like their details, where they live or things like that. So you have to still remain. I know some people are like, oh my God, yeah, well, she's gonna. No, I don't let that get to my head. I'm like, yes, she is, but she's still my client, whom I refuse to share her details with anybody.
Correct.
Or share their details with anybody. So no matter how much anybody pays me, I said, even little black book, I had my little black book and nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows where it is. So
I'll come to your house. I'm going to come and rob you one day. Let me get hold of that book.
You will not know where it is. You will not know where it is. I have hidden it well. You will not know where the addresses are.
Wow. I mean, that in itself is amazing. And it's one of those things that I say to people, because, you know, we Africans, sometimes we can look down on certain people when we think that, Anita, who is she? I've not really heard of her. I don't know what she's doing. But there's a number of people that are like yourself, that are what I call quietly in the background, that are mixing and delving and working and selling to and dressing the top people around the world, and nobody knows. You're just quietly making your silly money. And then out of nowhere, Forbes just announced you as one of the top 20 designers in the world. Who is she? Where did she come from? Do you understand? That's what happened. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. And when we look at your pieces, guys, I'm going to tell you, please go look at her pieces. They're absolutely amazing. I mean, I've known Anita for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
Very long time. I think from when you got started, in fact, from way back in 2006 in London. So we know that you get your inspiration from nature and from culture, and that your accessories are, they're just magical when you see them. You know, you have a feeling of, I can fly when I wear one of those. You understand? There's no doubt about that. And they carry a lot of what I call African power within them, all right? Because you are very African in what you do. How are you able to achieve that sort of detail that results in such profound statements in the pieces that you make?
It's basically, I tell people, is respecting your craft.
Okay.
When you respect that which you are called to do, that thing in turns around and blesses you even more. One thing I do is I love solace. Like this quarantine is the best. I work in quarantine. This is my element. So that's why for me, I'm not one to shout and cry and say, oh, let me out. I love this. I absolutely love this. I love the peacefulness, the quietness. I mean, now there's no car. There's hardly cars on the road. You hardly hear people shouting. In my neighborhood is so quiet. This is where the ideas speak to me loudly and clearly. And I'm like, all I do is surrender myself and say, you know what? Have your ways with me. And it means having your ways with me means it can be 23 hours in a day. Because some people look at my work and think, oh, I can do it. If I tell you my routine is crazy. Sometimes I'm not advising this to people. Sometimes I sleep 4 hours in a day. 4 hours in a day. And this is because I am so passionate about what I'm doing. And it's not because some people say, oh, it's unhealthy. Listen, when ideas is calling, you better drop everything you're doing and listen to those ideas. Because if you're saying, oh, I don't have time for you, guess what?
Sure.
Ideas will leave.
They will leave you. Yeah.
It will leave and it will never come back. So what I do is I said, I've always opened my doors, even on quarantine. I said, whilst I've closed my doors for many human beings to come into my house, I've left my door open, wide open for ideas to come in. And ideas has been coming in. It hasn't stopped, and I'm not bragging because I surrendered to my ideas. I am not fearful of my work. I can pour my passion. I kid you not, so I can sit here, I can do 23 hours, I can even do 24 hours, and I will not feel it that I've done 24 hours. It's my daughter that will come up to me and say to me, Mommy, you know you've been working for a long time. And I don't feel it, I don't get tired. Because for me, my creativity becomes my drug, it becomes my adrenaline. You know, the passion feeds the soul. And when the passion feeds the soul, it flows through the hands. And then that is how I just create. And that's how I create. So I say to people, don't be fearful. Don't be fearful, because ideas don't come small. Ideas can come big and it can come scary. But the question you have to ask yourself is, are you equal to the task? Are you equal to the task? Because ideas will not come to you if you're not ready. If you're not ready for the ideas, ideas will not come and bless you. Because when it comes, it doesn't just come and give you one ideas and leave. It comes and overpowers you with loads of ideas. And it gives you one idea that what you can do is you spend time nurturing that idea, and that idea will now go to another idea. By the time you know, it's like different branches. It goes into different branches, but people don't have the patience. That's the word, patience. They don't have the patience. They are so like, we're living that fast world whereby, oh, you do one thing, oh, you get bored of it, you move on to another one, you get bored of it. For me, I just pour my heart and soul, even if it's just one item that I take like 1 month to do. I make sure that I satisfy that idea. I make sure that that idea is happy with me. I respect the idea. Because when you're forming a relationship, I say to people, it's like ideas are like a marriage between husband and wife. You have to love on each other. You have to communicate with each other. Don't be fearful of speaking to your ideas. People might think, oh yeah, you cuckoo. No, you're not cuckoo. You're speaking because you're talking. You're saying to your ideas, this beat, if I put it there, it's not gonna work. That's how I do. I'm constantly talking to myself. And as you're talking, if you're quiet, ideas is actually responding back to you.
Right.
He's saying to you, don't put it there. That color doesn't go. Take it out. But if you keep saying, but it goes. If the idea says it doesn't go, listen to the idea and say, okay, I surrender. Let me do it your way, and let your way be done. And that is how you have a very good collection or pieces that you're working on. You need to surrender, you need to love, you need to be passionate, and you need to be patient.
Wow. I mean, because when you speak with the different designers, because some of the designers, there's a lot of designers that are watching this from different parts of the world at the moment, and some of the comments that are coming back to me now are like, how do you get those ideas? In the sense that, is it just inspiration? Is it natural? You know, do you look at a magazine and something just says, oh my God, that works? Or do you look at somebody's fashion on TV? Or is it just like you said, that you just in a quiet moment and pow, it comes to you? Because I work a lot with artists, and some of them will say that if they don't have inspiration, they can't do anything. They have got to be in the zone. Is that you, or how would you advise other people that are not like you to get their ideas? How would they get that inspiration?
I mean, everybody is different. Everybody is different. The way I work is different to everybody. I found sometimes that I could be inspired by, I could be walking and I could see like a leaf, or I can see a tree, and I can see, my grandmother always says you have a different eye. Because sometimes, and a lot of people keep saying to me, am I possessed? Some people think I'm possessed. I think I'm not possessed. They used to, but they used to say, you did deliverance. I'm like, I don't need deliverance. I see things differently from the way you see things. And I'm like, do you see the shape in that? They're looking at me thinking, what do you mean shape? I said, there's a shape in that thing. There's a shape. There's the way it's molding. There's a way it's curved. Can you see the way the leaves are merging, and the way the they're looking at me thinking, I can't see what you're seeing.
Okay.
But they're like, I'm cuckoo. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I can see maybe a lady jogging somewhere, and then it could be like the way she's jogging. It's just weird. And sometimes it could be through sound. I know it's weird because sometimes I can see shapes in sounds, or it could be from anything. It could just be, I'll just be sitting down there. I love conversation. I'm not nosy, but I love conversations with people. And I can just be sitting in a cafe somewhere, maybe Starbucks or something. And I'm just there, just looking at people and just looking at the way they're interacting, like their conversation. And I'm thinking, and in my head, I'm forming this dialogue in my head, like, And then from there, you'll be amazed the amount of the collection, the ideas that can come from that. So like I said, everybody's different, is how you interpret you translate your ideas, and how you see things, because I see things differently, and some people don't see. Like I said, they say I need deliverance. Some of them say I need to go see pastor. I need help. I think it.
No, but a number of the designers, like Dinma Collection, says I can perfectly relate to what you're saying, because I mean, do get their inspiration from different things. I mean, in what I do as a show production person, I need to be in the zone. So like,
yeah,
I always say to my team that when I work, as in like I'm now, and when I'm working on a show, I'm different, and you need to understand that. When I'm in that zone, don't come and be disturbing me with silly things, because you are. I can't relate to you. I can't understand. Get out of my space. I'm thinking, how do I make that work? This is what the client works. How do I merge it? How do I make it fantastic? And I believe that's the sort of things that you have to go through, because, like you said, if you don't grasp it there and then,
it goes. It goes. Yeah, it's gone. And for me, the thing is, obviously, like I went to art school. I'm a textile designer by profession. I mean, jewelry is just my curiosity that got me into jewelry design. I love sketching, but I realized that since I transitioned into doing jewelry, I don't sketch anymore. I don't sketch anymore. I can't count how many I've designed way more than 500 pieces of jewelry or more. And I tell you that I've never designed, penciled one of them. I have not sketched it down. And people say to me, oh, how can you work like that? I said, okay, listen, how I work is how an artist draws on a canvas. So basically you put a paint, and then it's like, the likes of Picasso, how they draw, they just start drawing. And that's what I do. Like my table is I'm a clean person. Don't get me wrong. I have this phobia for cleanliness, but my work table is the messiest. Is messy, as not a bad mess. I've got beads everywhere. I've got leather everywhere, chains everywhere. I've got everything. So I'm not one of those people that say, okay, oh, this thing needs to be here. So if I want to design, I'll go get this bead and put it here. I'll go get this one and put it here. No, once everything is locked away, it's like my ideas are locked away. I cannot be free to think. So what I do is I rather put everything on the table, leave everything on the table as messy as it is, and then I'll just start. And basically what I do, I'm a Christian. I just pray before I start. And then when I pray, I said, Lord, guide my hands. The spirit of ideas guide my hands. This is what people now think I've gone crazy, Shola. Then obviously the magic starts happening. And let me tell you the truth. It's like a trance. It's like a trance. That's why people say, I need help. Shola, it's like a trance whereby I'm designing. I don't have a vision of where this is going. I don't know what it's going to look like. I haven't got a plan in my head because I haven't sketched it. I don't even have a picture of what the final outcome is going to be. How you react is how I react. I look at them and think, geez, did you make this? And oh my gosh, like, I'm even shocked myself that I made it. Because, and I'm saying to myself, my daughter will be like, yeah, you made it. I've seen you, like, you've been working all night, all day, making that. And for me, and she said to me, and you don't look tired. I'm like, yeah, because I don't feel tired. I don't feel, yeah, because I love what I'm doing. I have my music in the background, or I totally work in a totally quiet place, and I'm just working. And by the time you know it, even including the big pieces, including them, that's how it all works. I don't sketch anything. I just I just let the ideas move freely because I don't like to command it. That's another thing. The reason why I don't sketch is I let the ideas come in freely and wow me. Because me sketching the ideas is telling the ideas which direction to go. So if I'm designing something, I'm like, okay, oh, this sketch is, oh, put the pink there. Then it becomes too, it's not natural. It becomes planned, and I love surprises. And I feel like every time I pause to look at the design, I've kind of bridged that relationship, that connection, because I keep pausing to look. So for me, I'm like, you know what, is that that date? I call my creativity like a date. We're on a date, yeah? I've paused, let's spend time with each other without no distraction. Yeah, this day you're getting to know me and I'm getting to know you. Today is today. We'll get to know each other. And by the time we're done, we'll have like forever do us part kind of thing, this agreement. Like I said to people, creativity is like a marriage. You are married to your ideas. You are married to your ideas. You're committed to your ideas. You're saying, I do to your ideas. And when you say, I do to your ideas, you remain loyal to your ideas for you to have a beautiful, long-lasting relationship. That's how it works.
So B. Gracefully says, is it difficult for you to part with your pieces?
Sometimes, but sometimes I know I have to let them go because I know they're going to a loving home. It's like having children and you love each of you. That's why I make one-of-a-kind pieces. And when I transitioned into doing footwear, I was like, it's like having too many children and you're having to let go of all your children at once. So that's why I always stick to one-of-a-kind. You love that child. You pour your love into that child. You nurture that child. And then when it's time for you to bless that child. And you let go of that child. And you know that that child is going to go on and bring joy and happiness to the owner. And then the person, I always say to people that my art has my heart in it. So if you're wearing my art, you got a piece of my heart in the art. So you're forever got a part of me with you.
Because it's made from love.
So it's made from love. It's made from love.
Very interesting. Din Collection says, this is so me. I'm sure I am normal now. Creative.
Oh, she is normal. She is normal.
So I think she works very much like you, and people must have been looking at it. I think there's something wrong with you, girl.
My mother thinks I need help. My own mother thinks I need help.
Okay, so we know that African fashion now is getting some major recognition around the world.
Yeah.
But what do you think that the African fashion space needs to do to grow bigger and be more successful into the international space? Not just in terms of recognition, but also as it relates to sales and funding the local fashion industry. What do you think we can do? What needs to be done?
Oh, where can I start? First of all, there's so many fashion weeks.
Yes.
There's so many weeks. And I feel like everybody is telling their own story when we should all be working together. And there's no point for me in Nigeria where there's so many fashion weeks and fashion shows in one country when everybody can bring your ideas together. Like you can bring your ideas. You've got vast years of experience in the industry. You are unique in your own ways. The other people are unique in their own ways. It's powerful if we all come together as one. Do you know how powerful that is? That is completely powerful. And then once you all merge together, you even have a stronger foundation and stronger support in terms of finances because you're all speaking the same language. I'm looking at the shows, and in all honesty, I haven't done a fashion show in a very long time. And it's because I feel like there's no unity there.
Right.
And a lot of what Africa, it's sad to say, is we're still doing my thing and my thing alone. This is my thing and my thing alone. Me and my crowd. If you're gonna come to me, stick with me. Don't go with them. Or if you go with them, it's competition. You betrayed me. So it's like designers are like, I love your show, but I don't want to do your show. And I know your show is going to offer me a lot of things, but this person is my friend. I don't want to be disloyal to her. Let me just stay where I am. I don't like that. It's not helping us in any way. It's not, we all need to put our egos aside and say, let's come together. Because I don't understand why South Africa is doing their own, Ghana is doing their own, Nigeria is doing their own, Uganda is doing their own, Zimbabwe. Come on, why can't we have a continent?
But I need to stop. You need to think about it like this, though. How big is Africa? That's number one. Number two, you have Paris Fashion Week, you have Milan Fashion Week, you have New York Fashion Week, you have London Fashion Week. You have Nigeria that's on the west, you have South Africa that is on the south, you have Kenya that's in the east. Trying to be kind of a little bit realistic here, how easy is it to merge them together like you're saying, realistically?
Okay, we can do, because obviously you've got different countries in southern Africa. You've got several countries in western part of Africa. You've got certain countries in eastern part and northern. Okay, so, okay, let's say Nigeria, Ghana, and the surrounding countries. Let's come and do our own. We cannot call it West African Fashion Week. I don't know. Everybody do their own. Then we can now have one joint one at the end. One massive one. Yeah. So we can do 2 shows a year. Everybody do their own, do your own. And then we can now have one huge collective show whereby different people, designers from all those different parts of African countries can come together as a collective and show their collection. Because that way, somebody from Nigeria will learn from somebody from Uganda. Somebody from Zimbabwe will learn from somebody from Nigeria. Because this is how we educate each other. Because right now we are a continent. Some of us don't even know the cultures in the continent. I don't even know some country. I'm still learning. Africa is a huge continent. I'm still learning. You'll be amazed how many people don't even know. They've heard of Nigeria, but they don't know about the cultures or the designers in Nigeria. And you'll be amazed that I don't know some designers in Uganda. I don't even know some designers in Ghana. And the thing is, what we need to stop doing is stop pushing the already recognized designers. This is what we keep doing all the time. I keep seeing the same shows, pushing the same designers over and over and over again. You cannot show me a designer you showed in 2006 and show me the same designer in 2007, the same designer in 2008. How are you being diverse? How are you recognizing other designers in the countries?
Well, one of the things that we started doing at Fashion Finds Africa is that our shows are aimed at new and emerging designers. So because of that, we always have brand new designers that come
how it's supposed to be
and stuff like that. But I do understand what you say about a lot of the other shows. I mean, but even though you say that, I have to say in the West, it's very much the same thing. If you go to New York Fashion Week, 8 out of 10 of the designers have shown for the last 8 to 10 years and stuff like that is the way in which they sell themselves. But this is definitely a conversation I might have with you another day. But Denmark Collection says, and I think this is a very nice question, which a lot of people like to know about. Have you ever experienced putting a lot of effort into your craft and you fall in love with the outcome, but your client still complains? How do you handle such an issue?
So they complain about what? That they don't like it?
You think what you created is fantastic, is brilliant, is beautiful, it's a work of art, possibly it's the best piece you've ever created. You give it to your client, and your client looks at it and says, please, what is this? What nonsense have you done?
Okay.
How do you manage that situation?
It's your job to educate and enlighten your client. Unless if your client, because it's your job to serve your client. Because if your client had an idea of what they wanted, they could have made it themselves. Why did they come to you? If they wanted a simple necklace, they shouldn't come to me because I don't do simple necklaces. Go to somebody that does simple necklaces. So if you come to me expecting simple, I'm sorry, my own version of simple is not your simple. And what I can do is, by the time I educate you about the processes, then you'll find that they will in turn turn around and see things differently. You see, a lot of people are stuck in their ways.
True.
They stick to one thing because their friends do it this way and they think, oh, okay, I should be doing it. It becomes a regular pattern. But sometimes you have to break the cycle. We are all not sheep that are going in a herd. Sometimes you have to be that odd sheep that stays in one corner and looking mighty beautiful in one corner. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to come to a wedding or an event wearing the same necklace or wearing the same. Nah, because I am different. I am not like everybody. I haven't got a twin sister. And even if I have a twin sister, I'm not even going to dress the same as my twin sister. So your job as a creative is to educate respectfully.
But if they still say no, what do you do?
Don't.
If they still say after you try to do that, they still don't like it.
Okay. Then what you do is you respectfully say to them, that's fine. Ask them a question. What are the things you don't like about this design? How can I make this design to be best suited to your liking? You don't argue with your client. You don't argue with your client because you can educate them. But if you feel like they're becoming very pushy and feel like, don't tell me what I want, then what you can now do respectfully.
Okay, we've got
you amend them in ways that they'll be happy with it, but touch. You don't want to lose your touch. You don't want to lose your touch. You don't want your stuff to somebody else does. You still want to stand out, but you do it in a very subtle. You do it to the way that will still make them look gracious and look very wow.
Okay. At FFA, Fashion Finance Africa, yeah, we call you. Sorry, we have a name for you, the Queen of Good Vibes.
Ooh.
Right? That's what they call you, the Queen of Good Vibes. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean that when I read your Instagram posts, and they're always filled with positivity. Guys, you need to read her posts. There's always positivity in your posts that you write. There's so much love. There's so much hope. So you're not just about design. You're trying to give something back to the world. How do you, I mean, anybody that's been watching you for the last 45 minutes, 50 minutes will know that your energy level is infectious. It's out there. How do you constantly maintain this great energy level?
Oh, when you go through life and being through life, you label everything thank you. And you keep moving on. And you see the beauty in everything, including you see the beauty in pain. Because I choose to see beauty in pain. I don't like to see, like I said to myself, I don't like to throw a pity party, because gone are the days whereby I used to sit down there and cry and play all these sad songs and feel sorry for myself and let people feel sorry for me. And at the end of the day, what do I achieve by doing that? I become even more miserable. I even get the people that I've invited to my pity party even becomes more miserable. So I say to myself, there's a way you can spin things, you know? You can take your pain and turn it into beauty. Every tear is not wasted. Every tear can be an encouragement to somebody else in another part of the world. So for me, I don't use my platform as a platform to just say me, myself, and I. I use my platform as a platform that celebrates love, that celebrates togetherness, that celebrates kindness, the good qualities that we need to be better humans. Because when we're better humans, we serve others with love. Like they say, unhappy people go around making other people unhappy. And if I say I'm serving and I'm making everything with love, I don't want hatred around me. Like sometimes when I'm angry and when I'm sad, I don't let my teardrop drop on my jewelry or any of my work, because I feel like if I'm sad, if I make something when I'm sad, the person that wears it can feel my sadness.
Wow.
They can feel my sadness because I poured all that emotion through my hands. You'd be amazed the power that flows through your hands. I've channeled all that energy into my hands, and it's translated, it's poured into the work I'm doing. So whenever I'm angry, I don't work. And sometimes if I'm doing personal work that is not for sale, and if I need to use it to relieve the anger or to relieve the stress, I channel that into the piece I make for myself. I never sell that. It's the piece I make for myself. So that becomes my therapy piece. That's a piece I look back and say, that's the piece that healed me. I never sell that piece. I never, ever sell that piece. So I make sure that every piece I make, that I make it from a good place, in the place of joy, in the place of, and in place of satisfaction with gratitude.
Wow. That is such a lovely way to end, because I think it's on such a positive note. I mean, make your pieces with love. Be positive about everything you're doing. Understand that there's something spiritual in what you create, because you are transforming or transferring that negative or positive energy into your pieces, which somebody else is going to take. I mean, I'm sure sometimes some people might have watched some movies where they say, "Oh no, there's something about this stone, or there's something about this, throw it away. It's not a good piece of luck." Or somebody will keep another stone and say, "This stone, there's something about it. You know, it's powerful," and they will keep it for years and years and say, "Is there good luck stone?" and stuff like that. So it means this is something that has been going around for centuries. And I definitely believe in it. I remember I used to have a chain. I don't know what happened to it now, but I carried that chain for years and years and years. I couldn't go out without it. You know, I just felt that this was my good luck charm, and so on and so forth. Anita, you have been such an amazing guest.
Oh, thank you, Shana. Thank you all so much for having me. Thank you.
You have brought joy into this joy that you have brought to me now. For at least the next 1 week, I will just be floating.
Shana, I've passed it on. I've bottled it. It's free of charge, I don't charge for it. So what I ask of you is, now you've received that joy in your heart, can you kindly pass that on to somebody else, so that somebody else can now pass it to somebody else? Because that way we can kind of create healing, so that everybody can get a dose of that joy and happiness that you have within you.
That's right. And it's not just to me that's received the joy. I'm sure everybody that's here that's received the joy. People were about to say bye to Anita. Please show her your love. You know, send her a message, love hearts to her, saying thank you for what you have done. We're definitely going to have her back again. I want to pick up that issue with you about the unity of fashion weeks. I think that's definitely a conversation that we could have. I'd love to have you, if it had been possible with IG Live, to bring you and David David Talley on at the same time, because you both have the same thought, and I'd love to see you go head to head with that one. And me saying I disagree with you. I think it'd be an amazing argument to have one day. Anita, thank you so much. All the way from London. All the way from London. This woman, London, Ghanaian, Nigerian. You can see she covers all the spectrums. We really appreciate you. Have a lovely evening. Continue doing the great things. Make sure your stuff keeps going out to those amazing clients that you have. And if you hear that there was a robbery in your area, you can name me as the number one suspect.
I have hidden my black book. It's in the bank, and the banks are not open.
I will find it.
It's in the bank. It's in the bank, and I said to them, if you give out these details to anybody, the amount of money you compensate me with your life. Because I've sworn in secrecy that I'm not to release those informations to anybody.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Anita, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Good night. We love you, dear.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
We will.
We'll definitely. I look forward to seeing you again. Definitely.
For sure. When I'm in London, I'll check you out. Or if you come to Nigeria or in Ghana, let me know. You're only the Ghana is not far. We can always cross over. Come and see.
It's not far. It's not far at all. It's not far. Yeah.
All right. Take care now.
And you too, my love. Take care. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, everybody. I hope you've really enjoyed our time with Anita. Anita is an amazing person. I mean, she's given an insight into stuff, and it's good to see how each designer does things differently. You know, she creates pieces from love. You know, she puts a lot of work and effort into it. She has a particular time in which she needs to do things. She either needs a quiet time or she needs time with music to create it. She's got an amazing clientele list. So don't think that the only people that are doing work out there are the people that you see on the red carpet, are the people that are taking all the pictures with all the celebrities. Sometimes, guys, I'm not saying for all of them, but some of those are the ones that are not making much money. I can give you tons and tons of pictures of me with celebrities. Doesn't mean I made a penny from them. In her case, she's actually making money. Hi to Hamad from Kuwait. Hey, it's good. Wow. I think you're our first visitor from Kuwait. It's lovely having you, Hamad from Kuwait. It's great having you. So, guys, please be dedicated, be consistent, work hard. And the designers that are saying it's okay to have a creative mess. All right? There's no harm in having a creative mess. So people like Dinma Collections and others that I've spoken about having a creative mess, that's okay. You know, Dinma just said, I've just learned about putting your emotions in your craft. And it's true. If you produce something from love, people will feel your love. They will buy your love. And not only that, they'll be very ready to pay a lot more money for what you're giving them. It's been a great time with all of you. Yes. We're going to be back on again next week with Mahogany International with True Talk on Tuesday. Watch out for who our guest is going to be. That's at 8 o'clock. We have the Model Boardroom on Wednesday that talks about everything at the modern industry. And Fashion's Finest Africa is back again next week, Thursday, 8 o'clock. And we have an amazing guest for you next week. We're going to be revealing it very, very soon. Omad said, I like access. I make accessories. Send us a DM, Omad, and we'll definitely hook you up with whatever it is that you need. Everybody, have a fantastic week ahead. Please stay safe. COVID is out there. It hasn't completely gone. Be creative. Use this time to think about new ideas. Collaborate with people. There's no magic in small dreams, everyone. So go all the way for the top. Good night, everybody.
All I gotta do is take your hand and run away. Some people don't kind of not die. Also, kidding mama, and they tell them they read it, they're about your leg. I'm not going to do your face. Yeah, they say, oh, if I said it's so, they want. Oh, my man, I know.